Hey advisors, my name is Jonathan Michael and I'm the founder of AdvisorX AI. We're going to continue our course series on prompt engineering for LinkedIn content generation today. So our first course that we did, which was like about a week ago, we made a course on crafting effective and professional LinkedIn posts. Today we're going to talk about understanding and engaging your audience. So posting on LinkedIn is obviously essential, and a lot of advisors really don't post on LinkedIn a whole lot. It's usually a link to a blog, or maybe it's a content subscription that you have and you just post articles, and the engagement there is really not that great. But then text posts that tell stories and talk to your ideal clientele and their pain points is what drives a lot of engagement today on LinkedIn. And I see this across the board with several advisors telling stories through short text posts. And even that opening hook statement is going to be so important, right? Like that first sentence that you see on a LinkedIn post is what makes someone want to click on see more and read the rest of the post. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to talk about how you can start engaging your audience using LinkedIn, but fueled by AI, so you can get rid of writer's block in a way and post more consistently with better ideas. So that's essentially what we're going to cover today. So welcome to the course series. And quick overview here, we're going to talk about understanding the demographics, interests, and pain points of your target audience. So we're going to talk about how you can be very narrow and specific and focused in the way you prompt AI models. And then providing valuable insights and tips to your audience as well, right? And then finally using questions and call to action. So we're going to compress all these three different moving pieces into example prompts, and I'm going to show you practically how you can, take advantage of AI and create content. But first, I want to talk about this prompting mindset for wealth management. And I think a lot of advisors today have to shift the way they think about technology and their relationship with AI models, because it's important to adopt this new mindset when you're engaging AI systems to get the best output from it. So one of the illustrations I like using is to think of AI as a really smart junior employee or intern that needs very specific instructions. And if you watch the first video that we made, we talk about how you can be very clear and specific in your prompts, and that enables the AI to understand what you want it to do. And once it understands what you want it to do with specific instructions, it does a really good job. So it's a really, really smart and, really competent junior employee or intern. That's the way to think about, interacting with AI. And then second, reducing hallucinations by forcing the model to provide citations and sticking to narrow tasks. So narrow tasks would be like taking a subject like retirement planning and breaking it down into subtopics. Like you'd have retirement planning, and then you focus on 401k plans or your Roth IRAs. Create 5 best practices for managing or drawing from your 401k, or rolling over to your Roth, best practices for rolling over to a Roth, just different subtopics, just being more specific as opposed to a generic prompt. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But when you force the model to provide citations, and you put that even in your prompt, sometimes you can say, provide citations. This is across the board. So you do this with any chatbot really, and any AI model that you use. Hopefully they provide the citations that you need in order, for you to know where it pulls that information from, right? Because there's a lot of distrust today. There's still distrust with advisors about where is the AI pulling information from? How do I know I can trust it? And the next point is using delimiters, the square brackets and the asterisks and whatnot, to separate out sections in your prompt. This enables the AI to really understand what it's reading through, and it provides structure to the prompt. So this is more for the AI to scan through your prompt and to know how you've outlined your prompt, what are areas you want it to focus on, what's important, what's not. That's basically what delimiters are. So it's a way for you to structure your prompt. And then finally, prompting with document retrieval instructions. This is extremely important because if you want to write a white paper or an ebook, or even LinkedIn content, right? And if it's very narrow and specific to something that your firm knows, maybe it's unique to your investment philosophy, maybe it's unique to your compliance product manual, whatever it may be, uploading a PDF or a document with your prompt and telling the AI how to retrieve information from those documents, that's a really robust approach to content generation with AI, because you're grounding the AI's response in a base level of documents and facts that you trust. That's essentially why this mindset is really important, of using documents, thinking of AI as a junior employee, forcing the model to provide citations, and using delimiters. So these are like the basics. And honestly, once you know this, you're good to go. So rule one, to start off this new course series on know your ideal client, on engaging your audience. That's essentially what this course is going to be about, helping you to engage your audience using AI. The first thing is to know your ideal client profile and their pain points. It seems like it's pretty straightforward, right? Pretty obvious. And I'm assuming most of you watching this already know who your ideal client profile is and what their pain points are. But if you don't, like, now is a really good place to start. So what does it look like? I like jumping right into good examples because, it just makes it easy and practical, right? So let's look at this prompt example here. Write a LinkedIn post targeting pre-retirees aged 50 to 55, interested in effective retirement planning strategies. So keywords to look at here is pre-retirees aged 50 to 55. So you might be targeting millennials age 30 to 35 who are interested in tax planning strategies. They may be high income earners, not rich yet, the Henry market, right? So try to get really specific about your niche and about your ideal client profile. And then highlight the importance. The next sentence says, highlight the importance of early retirement savings and talk directly to their pain points. So what are those pain points? I've mentioned like 2 pain points here: uncertainty about the future and the rising cost of living. So the AI can usually pick up on the pain points. Like when you give it like an ideal client profile, and you give it an age, it'll usually do a good job of taking that information and finding the pain points themselves, finding the pain point itself. But if you give it pain points that you think that your clientele might have, it just gives the AI better context, and it's never going to go against you to provide better context when you're interacting with AI. So the key features here are: you provided a specific audience, you have a focused message of highlighting the importance of early retirement savings, and then you have pain points, right? You're addressing a key pain point of the target audience. And that's what's going to really drive attention and drive engagement. And that coupled with storytelling, right? So we'll talk about that in a minute, or watch this video, the first video. I think we touched on that a little bit. Let's look at a bad example. This is, a pretty generic prompt. Write a LinkedIn post about financial planning. Okay, well, whatever. This is not going to engage with your client because it doesn't have context and so on and so forth. But if you're using AdvisorX, and this is not a cheap promo for what we do, but if you're using AdvisorX, sometimes like all you need to do is just set up your ideal client profile and pain points in our personas tab and give it instructions. And once you have persona instructions set up, which is a feature we offer inside AdvisorX, you have your ideal clientele pain points all set up. You can afford to throw in a prompt like this and get the AI to pick up context. So that's possible. But if you're using like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude, you definitely want to make sure that you're including all the different parameters that I showed in the previous slide. And if you don't want to use AdvisorX, that's totally fine. And maybe you're already plugged into a system right now, but just keeping like a notepad of your ideal client profile, their pain points, and having all of them like saved in a notepad, like having these templates saved so you can just copy paste and throw them in. Like that's a cool little hack right there, right? So yeah, this is too broad, unclear focus, and way too generic. So let's look at an example here of, our LinkedIn post generator. So inside AdvisorX, we have a LinkedIn post generator. Let me just go back there a second. So yeah, so this is the same good example prompt that I threw in. And our LinkedIn post generator automatically knows that it needs to optimize text posts for advisors. And so it starts off with that hook statement. Are you staring down retirement feeling a bundle of nerves about your savings? But the key is getting started today with a smart plan. Every year counts as you aim to stockpile enough to maintain your lifestyle. Start by maxing your out retirement accounts. So you can see the format. It's really optimized for advisors. And now we're going to see in ChatGPT what the response looks like So this is the exact same prompt. The only problem here is that it does the job, but it's almost like a blog post, right? So I think like if you're using GPT or Claude or other models, like be very specific about LinkedIn posts, and even mention it in the prompt if you want. Like say keep it at a line, keep it at a sentence per line. Like don't stack up 3 or 4 sentences in a paragraph. Like I want simple lines. So maybe you could do something like that, right? But anyways, this gives you a quick example of why you know providing context is key, and why AdvisorX is a better solution for advisors when you write LinkedIn content. Sorry for that cheap promo there, but it is true. Like we've put a lot of work into getting the LinkedIn post generator optimized, but there are hacks around it, like I mentioned. Like if you want to have a notepad with your ideal client profile and pain points ready to go, do that. But always remember that you're gonna have to prompt GPT again to tell it to like stick to 1 sentence per line and to come up with a hook statement. Not impossible, but can be done. Okay, so rule number 2, add value with insights and tips. This is again another feature set that I see with advisors who find maximum engagement on LinkedIn. They're amazing at providing value and educational insights and tips, right? So here's an example. Write a LinkedIn post offering 3 tips for pre-retirees age 50 to 55 on managing healthcare costs and retirement to ensure financial security. So I'm being specific. I'm not just saying, let me a LinkedIn post providing tips for pre-retirees on managing healthcare costs, right? 3 tips. People can only read so much on LinkedIn. And so short bullet points is what you need. So write a LinkedIn post offering 3 tips for pre-retirees age 50 to 55 on managing healthcare costs and retirement. Specific, clear, niche topic under retirement planning. 3 tips, ideal clientele is mentioned, age is mentioned. It's a specific audience, clear actionable tips, and there's a clear asks from the AI to provide a value addition with those 3 tips, right? Next, let's look at a bad example. Write a LinkedIn post with financial tips. And I would continue that, and I would say write a LinkedIn post with financial tips about retirement planning. Who cares? You're not going to get a great response. Too vague, lacks specificity. I feel like I use that word specific and specificity way too much, but it's true. I just, I think it's important to emphasize, why you need to be specific. And then limited engagement. It's not likely to produce a post that's going to drive engagement, because just keep in mind here that like everything we're doing with AI and, brainstorming with AI and writing content with LinkedIn and whatever, the end goal is to get better engagement. Who cares if you can just write with AI? Like, okay, that's great. But then can you drive engagement? Can you have people connect with your content more, comment on it, like it? That is the end goal we're going for here, right? Which is why your ICP, the pain points, the hook statement, that first line is so important. It is not to be underestimated. The first sentence is the key to everything. And so that's kind of what we're trying to achieve here, right? We want to make sure that we get a hook statement right, the ideal clientele, the pain points. And ideally, the pain point is what goes into that hook statement. And inside the LinkedIn post generator that we offer through AdvisorX, we kind of natively enable advisors to create really amazing hook statements. So let's look at another example, like in the post generator. So I asked it to, write me 3 tips. And it wrote those 3 tips for me. So just notice over here, I'll just, on this note, let me just pause that. Okay, I did pause it. If you notice, like, oops, kind of hid my face there. But the rising cost, the first sentence on the response right there says the rising cost of healthcare is a major concern for those nearing retirement age, right? That is like a hook statement. But you can always respond to the AI and say, well, come up with a better hook statement. And it'll usually come up with a great hook statement there. And so it also wrote 3 tips to manage healthcare costs. Let's see what it does. Maximizing contributions in tax advantage health savings accounts. Research your Medicare options thoroughly before age 65, considering purchasing a supplemental Medicare policy. And notice we have a fact checker there as well. Maybe you saw the fact checker button. You can fact check content as well. So I threw the same like post inside GPT and look at the response that I get. We usually see that word navigating being used way too much. We don't even use GPT-4o to like within our LinkedIn post generator. We use a variety of AI models, but anyhow. And finally, asking questions and call to actions. And this is something you may want to post like once or twice a week, maybe once a week, or even once in 2 weeks. Like you're providing value. So you're providing insights and tips and bullet points, and you're providing this educational value, amazing hook statements, and you're engaging your audience, right? So once in a while, once in 2 weeks, once a week, you definitely want to throw out a call to action, like schedule an appointment with me, or like provide like a question and get them to like comment on it and get them to send me a DM. Like, I'd love to connect with you on this topic. Not every single post, of course. I see some advisors doing that, but it's maybe once in 2 weeks. So here's an example of a good prompt to help you create that kind of a call to action type post. Create a LinkedIn post that asks pre-retirees aged 50 to 55 what their top priority is for a fulfilling retirement, and invite them to share their thoughts in the comments. It's pretty straightforward stuff. And, the AI can usually do a good job with this. We've seen some great results, obviously. I'm a little biased in that sense, but, so again, over here, you have specific audience engagement, you have a clear call to action, and you have an open-ended question. So you want to ask a great question, and you can even have that first question. The post could even open with a question, right? So that gets people thinking already before they read the rest of your content piece. So again, over here, clientele, ideal ICP is mentioned, their age, and you can even throw in a pain point here if you like, and say, mention the pain point and ask the AI, well, provide a question or create a LinkedIn post about this pain point that will get people to, comment on this post, something like that. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and this course series on prompt engineering. We have one more course left in this series on LinkedIn content generation, but we are going to continue teaching on email campaigns, how to generate ebooks, how to generate newsletters using AI in your unique brand voice with compliance and with personalization. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We'll be creating more content like this every week. Thank you for watching.